How do there, guys, and welcome back to Edgar TV, where today we're going to move away from the World Darts Championship content at the moment to look forward to 2023. But we're going to look forward to this in a way of we're going to look at which players could potentially call it a day in 2023. I've got 3 players looking forward here who I think could leave the professional game in terms of retirement, and these are the reasons why. Unfortunately, the first player I've got on my list is Steve Beaton. Steve Beaton, it's got to come to an end at some point, hasn't it, really, when you look at Steve Beaton and you look at him now at 58 years old. He's going to turn 59 next year, and when we look at the performance we had in the World Championship this year, it wasn't quite on par. However, he's played some amazing darts this year, had over 100 average many times, certainly in qualifying for those European tours as well. In 2022, he had an increased year, earned an extra nearly of £10,000 last year compared to 21, which does mean he's got a better chance of keeping hold of his PDC tour card should he decide to do so. Defending £35,500 from 2 years ago, so 44% of his prize money, currently sat on £80,000. Now, it is a little bit lower this year. £56,750 is what was needed to keep hold of the PDC tour card, which means Steve Beaton only realistically needs around about £14,000 in order to keep that. But personally, I think he needs to make the Worlds and the Players' Championship to keep the interest. He has openly said in the past and to my face that the travelling is starting to get a bit much for him and he's not enjoying that side of the game anymore. And I think this year, having that good run of form in the middle part of the year, probably just rejuvenating him long enough in order to give him another season. But I think this could be the last season that we see him in there. He does have other options available to him as well. Like I said, he is 59 years old now, so there are options such as the World Seniors Championship, which carries a prize fund of £40,000. Remember, £40,000 or £44,000 is the prize fund that Steve Beaton has taken from his whole year. That is all the travelling and all that expense that goes with it. He could have a crack at that prize fund in an event he could genuinely go and win in that Seniors World Championship, along with 3 other TV events that the seniors have, and now the updated tour events that they've got there with bigger prize funds available. There's obviously things such as the Super Series. I think a lighter schedule is probably what would suit Steve Beaton best now, rather than all this sort of travelling. And I think, well, I don't think that's his words, not mine, but I think we could see 2023 being Steve Beaton's last year, unless he goes and does something really, really good. If he goes and has a big run somewhere, maybe makes a match play and gets into other events as well, we may get another year, but I think 1 or 2 years is probably what we've got left in terms of Steve Beaton in the professional ranks. Second man on this list, and it's going to be no surprise because he was on the thumbnail, 52-year-old Gary Anderson, who just went out of the World Championship at the hands of Chris Dobie, my dark horse to win that one. But it's not because Gary Anderson is not playing good darts. He's actually averaging 95.98 over the last 12 months, which makes him the world number 12 in terms of stats. But his current world ranking is now 21. That is significant. That means he is now out of the world's top 16. Now, being out of the world's top 16 means he is not guaranteed those big major events. He's defending money, 67% to be precise of his prize money, which equates to £160,000. Now, that £160,000 is split down across the World Match Play, the Grand Slam, the Grand Prix, the Players' Championship Finals, the World Championship and the UK Open. Most of it is tied up in the World Championship, £100,000 on that, which means that Gary Anderson is going to need to make the World Championship, which he should do. He should stay in the top 32 come the World Championship. The top 32 players are in the World Championship, so even if he was to lose all year long, he should still be able to get into that position. However, he's got £11,000 on the Pro Tour moving forward, but to get into things like the World Match Play, he's going to need about 36 to 38,000 before July. So he's going to need to pick up 25 to 27,000. Now, if he's not going to be doing the European Tour like he hasn't done in the past, that means he's going to need to win a Pro Tour and be good in the other events, or possibly even make a Pro Tour final with a Pro Tour win as well. A Pro Tour win is £12,000. So if he is going to make those events, it's going to need to be a big run. If not, He's going to need to make the semi-finals at the World Championship next year to stay in the top 32, and even then he'll be clutching into those positions. I think next year's World Championship could be the last one we see Gary Anderson, because if he's having to go to the World Championship qualifiers, or if he's having to try and get into that through that Pro Tournament, I can't see him going down that road. This is a guy who turned down exhibitions for £20,000, so I can't imagine that he's going to be going on the Pro Tour and trying to battle it out from those top 32 places. I think as soon as he drops out the top 32, we're going to see that retirement from Gary Anderson in professional darts, and I think that comes next year at the World Championship. But like I say, if he does apply himself, he does go and do the travelling, if he can find a bit of enthusiasm, 95.98, 12th in the rankings, he's certainly got the game that could make this happen still. Now, this last one might seem a little bit strange due to the timing of my theory here. However, it's Mensur Suljovic. And I say it might seem a bit weird because Mensur Suljovic just had an amazing game with Michael van Gerwen at the World Darts Championship. For me, one of the best games in World Darts Championship history. I loved some of the moments in this game, such as the 161. But moving forward, this result now has moved Mensur Suljovic out of the world's top 32, which means he is not in the World Championship next year as things stand. He's defending 54% of his prize money. That comes from the European Championships, the Grand Slam, the Grand Prix, the Players' Championship Finals, the Worlds and the UK Open. Now, that is a good spread. He's spread that out quite far, which is good. He's not just got one event that he's got to rely on. However, out of those events, those major events, those 6 events, only one of them he is guaranteed as things stand, which is the UK Open. He is going to need to get on the Pro Tour. He's going to need to have some good runs to push himself into those positions, or all year money is just going to drop off from his rankings. Now, this is not something I see being a concern in terms of his tour card position. I think he'll keep that based on what he has done this year. But the year after, it would be a concern. And I just don't know how much more travelling we're going to see from Mensur. Now he's hit that 50-year-old. I remember when I played him a couple of years ago at the World Championships, even then he was saying in his interview that he feels like old and the travelling's getting to him, and we're seeing him wind down his calendar. In terms of the Players' Championship events this year, 30 events he's played in. He's blanked in 13 of those, so 13 he's got no money, and he only qualified for 2 out of the 13 European tours. They are the things that get you into these major events, so he's going to need to pick up a little bit more on that side of things. But one thing we have seen from him, we've seen a very good game. Like I say, that Michael van Gerwen game was incredible, but the consistency isn't quite there when we look back at some of his previous TV tournament averages and what he's done in getting to this point. Obviously, the Grand Slam qualification was a big bonus for him. Now, I remember watching The Undertaker's last ride, and he said a line. It was, "I'm not as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever was." That's what I feel this situation here is for Mensur, that he can't be as good as he once was all the time, but for individual games like that Van Gerwen game, he can still really produce the very best and the highest levels. But I think this is more down to travelling. The travelling takes it out of you. Don't just, what you see is only a very small window of everything that goes with it. I live in England and the travelling was killing me at times. This is even further for him, travelling over all the time from Austria, and I just think that it's taken a bit of toll. I think we're going to see him relax his diary a little bit. We might see him play in some majors. I'm not saying he's not going to qualify for things. I just think this might be where this season, at the end of it, he thinks, right, okay, that's enough now, or just takes a full part-time schedule and maybe just picks and chooses like the UK Open and certain qualifiers and things like that. So I don't think he goes full-time at the end of 2023, that's for sure. What do you think, guys? Do you agree with my 3 picks of 3 players that could be retiring at the end of 2023 or taking a lighter schedule? Do you envision that someone else might be joining this list? Maybe James Wade and Adrian Lewis, who have already hinted at that, might make your list of players we could see the end of on full-time schedules at the back of 2023. You know what to do. That is in the comment section down below. On your way down to the comment section, guys, hit the like button, the thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't done so already. They're both free to do and help me out a lot, and I'll be chatting to you guys down in the comment section. I'll see you soon for another Edgar TV.